some of the pointers that I would have found interesting and important to know when I was applying to London Business School, the Master in Financial Analysis there. Obviously, some of these pointers can also be used for the other early career programs, such as, for example, the Master in Management. So for me, there are 6 important pillars to note. So for one, the values. Who is the school looking for? The CV, which I won't be covering today. Essay questions. You will need a professional reference, certifications, and I will finish by some extra points, which might be helpful. So let's directly start with the values. And I think that the best place to start researching these values is this page, the learning and teaching philosophy of the school. So for one, they say that they are a research-driven learning and teaching environment. It's good to know, but it's not that important for the early careers. This is more important. So the diversity in learning experience. I know that in my cohort, in my early careers cohort, we are 500 students and up to 100 nationalities. So for them, it's really important to see how you are international yourself. If you're not, how have you got international exposure? Maybe you've done an internship abroad, for example, and you should also showcase how you will be thriving in an international environment. Next, my favorite buzzword, innovation. So what does that mean concretely for LBS? I would talk about how you have a curious mindset. So how can you showcase that you want to constantly better yourself, constantly learn new things? You can talk about a diverse set of interests, for example, so that they may range from finance to music to arts to volunteering in a hospital, whatever, right? Show that you have a diverse set of interests. And finally, important point here, learning in practice. So LBS focuses on a hands-on learning experience, not like LSE. They focus on an academic learning experience. So what is a hands-on learning experience? There will be a lot of case studies, group works, unique experiences such as the Global Experience Week, where you will have the chance to work on a project abroad. And abroad doesn't mean like abroad in Europe, also possible, but cooler. You can go to Medellin, for example, in Colombia. You can go to New York, to Boston, to Cape Town. So it's really a cool experience. Next, let's talk about quickly and briefly, just talk about some of the essay questions, and I want to give you some pointers here. So the first one would be talk about academic underperformance. So best example would be maybe you have a bad GMAT or whatever, like bad. What does bad even mean? So I would say GMAT should be at least 640 for the MFA. 700 is the average that we have, but in the median is I think 690. But you can also get in with 640. I know a couple of friends who have 640. So you should talk about why you believe that you didn't perform as well as you wanted to perform, and maybe also how would you change your learning schedule for the GMAT, knowing what you know today, and what have you learned through this experience. Talk about these things. Then detail a couple of activities that you want to do before the program starts. So just talk about internships, certifications, entrepreneurial endeavors, or whatever, but relate them to the program. That would be ideal. Then you should talk about your career goals. I would separate them into 3 different parts. So your short-term goal, what you want to do after graduation. That could, for example, be investment banking. So why do you want to do investment banking? Talk about it here. Then how can investment banking help you to reach your medium-term goal, which could, for example, be you want to exit into a PE fund, and how can these experiences help you to reach your long-term goal, which could be, creating your own PE fund, right? Then if that doesn't work out, what is the plan B? Again, short-term, medium-term, long-term. 5th question would be, what are the main activities and interests in your free time? I would use something that you can back up. Don't just say, I'm playing the piano once a week, right? Or I'm playing tennis once a week. So I would give a tangible, you should be able to tangibly back your claim up. So if you say, I'm good at tennis, then back it up by some of the trophies that you've won in your tennis career. Then I think that this is important. This is a very important question to note, because we've talked about the values before, and you should always keep the values of the school in mind in answering any of these questions. So they look for innovation, diversity, and also, we haven't covered it before, but it's very important for them, is collaboration. Importantly, but let's get back to this question. So important for them here is the international aspect. So How will your previous experiences enable you to thrive within our school's diverse and international community? So talk about, I don't know, family and background. You have international parents. Have you studied in an international school? Have you done camps that are outside of your home country? Your education. Have you studied abroad? Have you done an exchange semester? Your work experiences? Have you done internships in other countries? So these things will showcase that you will thrive in a diverse environment. Then you also need to talk to your family about your plans to studying abroad. So again, obviously focus on the positive responses. So don't say, yeah, my parents have reservations about me living alone because I can't cook and clean or whatever. It doesn't matter, you'll figure it out when you live alone. And then how have you connected with the LBS community? So the best thing to do here would be to reach out to a student alumni. Even better would be to reach out to a student ambassador, because literally their job to talk to you about this, and they volunteer for this. So the school has a website. The website of the school has a dedicated page to this. So the page starts with the MBA ambassadors, but they're also MFA ambassadors, so talk to them. Then exactly. So in this question, you should discuss some of the topics that aren't as easy to find online, so that you can really showcase that you've talked to this person. Focus on things like the global experience, which I've mentioned before, where you can work and study on a project abroad on another continent. The London Business Challenge Week, there's 1 week in London where you'll be working on a challenge which is given to you by a London-based company. The Sundowners, they are a networking / socializing event which takes place every Thursday on campus, so they really are proud of this, so you can mention it. And then maybe talk about a specific student society. Best would be the student society the student ambassador is a part of, so you can showcase that you actually talk to that person. To get more information on these things, I would definitely refer to the brochure. You need to give them your email, but then you get it, and then you can focus on these things, learn more about these experiences so that you can better talk about them. Then question 9, what learning outcomes are you aiming to achieve as part of your Masters in Financial Analysis program, and what are the challenges? So for one, I think it's very important to talk about the specific subjects that you will be undertaking in your course. So let's say that you did an internship in finance in a bank, and the feedback was that you are already quite good, but if you want to do even better in investment banking, you should improve your financial modeling skills. Okay, yeah, I'm just rambling here, whatever. You can then say, okay, so I got this feedback, and LBS literally has a course which is called financial modeling. So you can say, okay, in order to better myself in financial modeling, I will be taking this course, and this is how the school will be able to help me to then achieve my career goals, which would be investment banking in the short term, PE in the medium term, etc. Then what are the challenges? So the obvious challenge will be time constraints in a 1-year master. So you will have to study, socialize, do job applications, and look out for your physical health and well-being. So maybe just quickly coming back to the specific courses. So there are also electives, and you can choose from a very diverse set of electives. So as far as I remember, these are like 45 electives, and for example, a school like LSE only offers 8 electives. So you can also say that this is something special to LBS and that you're looking forward to it. So you have electives in economics, you have also electives in organizational behavior, right? So there are a really diverse set of electives, which is unique to the school. Then question 10, during your time as a student, how will you contribute to the LBS community? So here, I think the easiest thing would be to talk about a specific student society. So you have, on the website, you have all the student clubs on campus. I think there are more than 80. And here you can see the most important ones. So for example, let's say you would like to be part of the entrepreneurship club. Show that you already have entrepreneurial experience and that this is why you can add value to the entrepreneurship club. Or let's say you have contacts in the PEVC industry, then you can say, okay, I can provide value to this club by actually talking about or because the PEVC club usually has a conference once a year, maybe you can say, okay, I will be doing my best to get these contacts to that conference, and this is how you will be adding value. right? So these are some of the points you can talk about here. And finally, then please outline your experience of working or studying in English in an English-speaking environment. So anything from, I don't know, English courses, English certifications, or experiences abroad should do the trick here. Okay, so let's get to the third point, the professional reference. Maybe only 2 quick pointers here. So try to build someone up during your internship. Should be someone who is reliable, not someone try to find someone who is reliable on this, because some people just don't like to answer you. It should be someone who answers you quickly and who will do a diligent work when writing your reference. It should also be someone who has enough seniority, so don't just take someone who is just 1 year older than you, because that just could be a friend of yours. And avoid family contacts and friends in general, because that's easy to track. Another pointer would be to look up the questions online. These are, for example, the questions for the 2019-2020 recommendation letters. And why should you do this? So you can take away the workload for the referee, and it also enables you to point referee towards what you will be writing in your essay by giving them pointers for each question. Right? You can even write the question out. You cannot know if they will be taking that your answer and just using it as theirs, but at least it gives them some pointers on what you would like them to talk about. So I think this is an important point as well. Then the certification. So this is my least favorite part. You will have to do things like the TOEFL or the IELTS to show your English proficiency. The GMAT, which was, a really bad experience for me. I really hated it. But whatever, you have to go through it. So some hints for this. So there are millions of videos on YouTube on how to properly prepare for the GMAT, but things like you can get the official practice tests, which are, I think, 2. You can get them online. You can get them from the agency that actually provides the GMAT, so do them. You can also use the personalized preparation help, such as GMAT Wiz or Target Test Prep, so you wouldn't have to buy the book, and they use AI to focus on your strengths and weaknesses. And then there are many websites that offer 1 to 2 free practice exams. Just Google free GMAT practice exam, whatever, and then there will be a couple of websites that pop up. And then also very important, do the practice exam as often as possible in a practice exam environment. So don't do like the mathematical part and then take like a 30-minute break. Like sit through the entire exam, do that as often as possible. That will really help you to thrive when you will be doing the GMAT. And then if you want to have additional advantageous points, maybe do some additional certifications. So Wall Street Prep has some certifications. Maybe you can quickly look at that. So you can do some self-studying here. For example, I don't know, you need an accounting crash course or whatever it is, or private equity masterclass. You can do it and then showcase your showcase the additional work that you have put into this, so that you can really show the school, okay, you really have a deep interest into finance and a specific scene in the financial industry. Right, so what do we have here? Shows additional commitment and looks good on the CV. Exactly, so that's the point of doing these certifications. Then, so let's get to the final part of this video, which are some extra points. So I think I can't stress this enough. Leave enough time for your preparation, because you can see these are a lot of things to do, and this is not the only university you will be doing this for. So take, I don't know, a year or so in advance to do things like building up your resume. So do appropriate internships, which is already the second point here. So internships in a relevant field are a big plus. So for example, experience in M&A, PE, VC are a big plus for coming into LBS or getting into LBS. And they're also important when you're actually at LBS, because you will need to apply for some opportunities, such as, I don't know, going to Germany and meeting with 6 hedge funds or 6 PE funds or whatever. They don't just take everyone there. You will have to apply with your CV and showcase your interest in meeting these PE funds. And then having PE experience on your CV helps there as well. But again, so getting back to leave enough time for your preparation. you will also have to do the GMAT. Take 2 months or so just to do the GMAT. Don't do anything else during that time. I should have done something like similar to this, but I don't know. You can obviously say, okay, I don't have the time to take just 2 months just for the GMAT, so then you have to do it whilst you're doing other obligations. But I think that if you're not a math genius, the best way to do it is to take just 2 months or 2 to 3 months for the GMAT. And then I think the last point that I would like to give is get the faculty to remember the name or your name before you apply. So how do you do this? So attend their recruitment events. There is a page for that, events for prospective students. So for the Master in Finance, this is not your course, not the MFA. MFA is a different course, but look for MFA or Master in Management information session. Go to the information session and ask intelligent questions. Don't just sit there because that's just a waste of time, right? Because they won't be remembering your name. So you want them to remember your name. Also, LBS usually offers a CV check. So I haven't found it online right now, but they may just provide this at the beginning of the recruitment cycle. But look it up because I did it. You can upload your CV, they look at it, and then they tell you if your CV is adequate for the course or not. And then afterwards, if it's adequate, you can even schedule a one-to-one. That's perfect for them to remember your name because you will be speaking to someone from faculty and you can ask them any question you want. And try to make them seem intelligent. But I think this is a very good way to get additional points. So again, let me just go back up here to conclude. So the important pillars are again the values. So who is the school looking for? Try to focus on the innovation part, on the collaboration part, on the internationalism in every answer that you give, in the essay questions, in the reference letter, and as well as in the interview questions. So this is very important to the school. This can give you additional points. And also the extra points, obviously, that getting the faculty to remember your name also gives you extra points. So these are the extra points parts. And the CV is also important, but then the most important things are then the essay questions, your professional reference, and your certifications. I can tell you that you don't need to be brilliant in all of these aspects. So for example, if your GMAT is like a 650 or so, then you should be able to counteract this through, for example, being on the dean's list at your former university, or through brilliant essay question answers, and or through a very, very, very nice professional reference. So I hope this helped, and I'm available for any question in the comments, and I'm wishing you good luck with your applications.